If they remember why they're there, it affects everything else they do. So when you meet in the morning, sing your anthem. Remind yourselves of your goals. In our own organizations, the question goes, what is our sales target for the day? Everybody answers. The person that nobody can come and say they don't know their target. You recited it in the morning. And then, can we do it? Yeah, you know the way football teams charge before they go and play. So charge yourselves and hit the ground running. Everybody has already remembered what they have to do. And then automatically they are cheerful, they are in the mood, they are in the frame of mind to tackle anything headlong. And that's why I said motivation and inspiration is a permanent job for the visionary leader. However, you set in place a system that makes sure that nobody ever lacks motivation. Now, more than that, we have said you have to help your people grow, you have to develop them, you have to make them better so that they will make your business better. That means you have to have a library of books. Every person that works in this organization that I work in has a book of the month that they're reading, that they will discuss what they have learned. As a matter of fact, when you are recruited, everybody has one book they read as their first book. What's the first book? You see, they know it. The leader who has no title. Not only the leader who had no title, Robin Sharma. Not only is it the first book you would ever read when you join the team, you must read that book at least once every year. Why? Because you need to lead yourself. You need to lead your role. And so we have several books like that in the library. And when the manager wants to give people books to read, you will remember that during the course of this seminar I already mentioned, you give them books to read, you become a coach and a mentor. You give them books to read along the lines of what you need them to learn about, what you need them to change. So if they need to work on time management, you find a book on time management. If they need to work on productivity, you find a book on productivity. If you think that is their vision that is defective, you find them a book on this vision. If you think that their goal setting is not so good, you give them a target, they don't know how to chart it. Then you go and look for how to build a great life. It's perfect for goal setting and planning. So maintain a library of books that address the issues you need people to know about in your business. And then find a way to make sure that over a course of time, over a period of time, everybody gets to read those books and elevate their thinking. The thinking we have is what got us the results we have now. The only way to get better results is to improve our thinking. The only way to improve our thinking is to read the books that can make us think better. Now, by doing that, you have already cultivated a culture of personal development in your team members. They become better, whether they like it or not, on a monthly basis. As they get better, the results you get from them get better. Something else that helps create harmony, that helps create a pride in what they do, is a uniform. Even if they don't wear it all the time, when they wear it, there is a sense of solidarity that comes from it. That's the idea behind Ashwebi. Abi? All of us, I'm going, I think it was last week, I went for a seminar that First Bank organized. And I noticed that during the break, some people went to change. And I realized that I have this cloth. That's how I remembered I did not go for the party. I saw they were changing. So I left there and went for a meeting in another school. And I saw like 4 people wearing the same thing. Automatically, there's a sense of identity in that fabric they're wearing. So even if, whichever way you want to do it, it might not be fabric, it might be colors. It might be a color theme for a particular day of the week. There is a sense of identity, a sense of belonging that comes from it. So those of them in that fabric at the seminar on estate planning, succession planning, serious business, they started sitting down together. They didn't know themselves before they saw each other wearing those clothes. But the fact that they were going to the same place after the seminar made them sit together and then start asking questions. Oh, did you come with a car? Can I ride with you? Automatically, the clothes they were wearing created a platform for discussion. That's the same way the people that wear the same things, that work in the same departments, they tend to wear the same clothes, they bond better. And then we must also create opportunities for them to bond. We must have team building exercises. We must have them talk to each other about themselves. You know, it's possible that you work with somebody and the person doesn't really know what you think about them. So create games that would have them talking to each other about what they like about themselves, what they don't like about themselves, what they think you should improve on. And without much effort, you'll be doing great HR work by giving feedback on performance in those kind of meetings and doing it in a relaxed environment. You know, there are times when the games you are doing is egg race. And that egg must not fall down when you are giving it to the next person. If you're able to teach them to transfer roles or transfer eggs to themselves like that, they will understand that the way they work must be connected. You debrief, you teach. These things are not difficult. Just pick your meta here. Maybe we have meta here. Team building games I can do for my members. You will find things that don't need resources, that don't need time, but that you will use to teach values to the people on your team. Also, care about them. People don't want to know how much you care until you show how much you care. They don't want to know what you care about, rather, until you show how much you care. So they're not going to be pursuing your dream if they don't feel cared for. And so when I say care about them, what happens when somebody in your team is celebrating his or her birthday? What happens when they're getting married? Hey, yeah, congratulations, all the best. And you let them go. You know, sometimes it's good to assist by sending money. But one thing I found is that when you show up, the value is not even to the person you showed up for. Everybody in their life, your boss came. Wow. If it were my own, he will just write me a letter. You understand? So the fact that you showed up, it makes a world of difference. The fact that you sent a gift. Now, the gift, I would always say, it's not always about the cost of the gift. It's the fact that you even remembered I was doing birthday. So he knows my birthday. That is more surprising. Not that they announced and he greeted you. That he greeted you by himself before the announcement. So he knows. He remembers. Those the cheap things you do that buy you loyalty from your team members, you'll be surprised. I had a boss when my father was 75. He didn't come. He sent 75,000 naira to my father for his 75th birthday. You know, that act just made it. I invited him for party, he did not come. But he sent 75,000 naira to, you know, it's not even my, but my perception of that person just changed automatically. So if he's sending me errand when I'm not at work, I cannot answer, sorry, I closed at 4 o'clock, I will attend to you tomorrow morning. Because he's a stakeholder, automatically. You'll be surprised, the little things you do. And the little things you do might be as little as I work with someone who was going to the market, and I just noticed that she was reading the market list like this. And I said, is there something wrong? She said, no, it's just this eye. What's wrong with the eye? Nothing, no. If I take Ifa away, I will see it. What does that mean? So I said, okay. I gave her an address. Told her, ask for somebody when you get there. Everything was not up to 15,000. But she didn't know what she was going there to do. When she got there, they did the test. They gave her glasses and they said, be going. And she said, what about? She said, they said, the person that sent you here said we should tell you not to worry. Now, that don't worry. That day, she wanted to do double shift. Because the world changed color. The things she did not know were in her kitchen before, she started seeing them. Do you understand? Now, she was doing her work well. She was not failing at her job description. But I just realized that her life was not comfortable. The truth is, if I help her see, food will stop being salty. Because she cannot see the quantity of salt in this spoon. But you did not know because we are using sense. But all of a sudden, our efficiency would increase. You might think it's personal to them, it's their personal headache, but you have solved a problem that will reflect on your business, whether you like it or not. If not anything, you are buying loyalty. When they have an opportunity to either sell you out or be true to you, they would rather be true to you. So those little things make a difference. Now, Even when you are making them feel like family, you are celebrating birthdays in the office, you are attending their events, don't let us ever let people bond to the extent that they forget the results we are looking for. And so, in the middle of our social activities, like I said, let's remember what is our target of the day. Let that be your closing, grace that they used to close. Let that be your closing statement. Remind them of why they are here. Let there always be something to remind them that we are bonding because of the results we want. When you do that all the time, it becomes a way of life, it becomes an orientation, it becomes something that is permanently on their mind. And if you reward the achievement of targets, it becomes a system that always works, no matter what. Now, this should be the last thing I want to talk about, creating an idea bank in your workplace. Idea bank is more or less suggestion scheme. But when you see it as an idea bank, a bank of ideas you can implement in your business, then you would take it a little bit more seriously. Some people have suggestion boxes, but they never open them. The people that open them just read like, what would you have said when it's not you spending the money? But it is important to have an idea bank, not just for your customers, have for your customers, feedback forms, suggestion schemes for your customers, but have for your staff. Why? If your job is to think and their job is to implement, you are not as conversant with their problems as they are. If your job is to think and it is their job to relate with customers, you do not hear the type of complaints they hear. So you have to make sure that it is their responsibility from time to time to think about what you need to change, what you need to add, what you need to remove from the way you do business. So create a system, most likely a questionnaire, that you would give them that would harvest these ideas from them. Questions like, what are we doing that we should stop doing? What are we not doing that we should start doing? What do you think that if we introduce to our business, we would have more customers? What are other people doing this business doing that you think we should introduce into our business? Do you know what that does? It spreads the work of thinking on the business to everybody. So create a culture, involve everybody in harvesting ideas of how we can improve the business. And when we say involve everybody, the gate man, we hear people leaving. When they are leaving, they are talking about their experience. So he has heard important information about what is going on inside, even though he has never entered to know what you people do. But he has heard them complaining. He knows what they complain about. The people that are coming in that are praying, God will let them answer me on time today. He knows that that person has a problem with the timeliness of your service. So they also hear things they can tell you about. They have things they can recommend. Involve every single person because everybody has a different perspective of what we need to do. So when they bring these ideas, there are some you can act on immediately. There are some you cannot act on immediately because it will cost you money to implement. That is what I mean by an idea waiting list. The ones you can change immediately, especially when it won't cost you anything. The ones you need to plan to change, put it on your waiting list. Set a timeline. By the time we hit this amount of sinking fund, we can remove this amount to implement this change, to buy this machine, to remove this waste, to employ extra people to do this. At that time, you can begin to prepare for it. So generate the waiting list and make plans to implement the suggestions. That's why we would always say convert the ideas to action points. They have made suggestions. If you are not going to implement it, what's the point in having those suggestions? So don't just harvest the ideas. Don't just make people feel like they are telling you something, implement them. Personally, I gave you idea number 1. Oh, good idea, thank you. Nothing happened. 2, nothing happened. 3, nothing happened. After a while, I'll stop sharing my ideas with you because I realize you're not ready to change. So it is important to implement something. And if you're not going to implement the whole thing, have a conversation with me and say, okay, while I understand 1, 2, 3, the implication of doing 4 is that I will have to do it forever. And we will create something we cannot sustain. So talk about it, read through it, test it. The ones that are approved, implement. The ones you cannot implement, let them know why you cannot implement it. One good way to use your staff optimally when they give you ideas is put them in charge of implementation. If somebody has complained that this thing we are doing will get us this result, if we add this, we'll get a better result. When you buy that machine they said you should buy, put that person in charge. When you put that person in charge, the person has a responsibility to make sure that the result he or she promised from doing it happens. All of a sudden, it's a personal project. All of a sudden, I said they should do it, they have done it. If they don't get that result, they won't listen to me next time. Their dedication to midwifing their own ideas is higher than what you would ever have. And that's why when somebody gives you an idea that you intend to implement, put that person in charge of the project. The person will be thinking about the project in his sleep. You won't even ask them. They are personally motivated to prove their worth because you are relying on their word. So always use the person who gave birth to the idea as the person that will nurse it into fruition. And there's nothing wrong in, one, recognizing the contributor. Somebody gave you an idea that is working. Announce it. That this result was brought by our team. Give the glory to the people that did the work. The brain work, the footwork. It always amplifies a leader. When the leader can say, this was not me, this was them. That recognition goes a long way. As a matter of fact, if you can back the recognition with a reward, it is even better. Because then it becomes a competition for generating the best idea that we can implement to get the kind of results we seek. In conclusion, it's a culture we are trying to create, a culture of excellence. What we are trying to do is make sure that we get the same results all the time. We appear consistent. We are consistently getting better. So we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not an act. It is a habit. This was said by Aristotle. Aristotle is a great thinker. So, what do you do? What do you do consistently? How do you act? With all the tips we've shared today, I believe that we all have learned a thing or two that will make a difference to how we do business. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Thank you very much.